I'm a rageaholic. I just can't live without Rageahol.
You two young Republicans gonna fuck you. Okay, feeling maybe he'll see a little bit of Saturday. Oh yeah. Well, hand down, I got a dildo on your face if you fuck with me. Oh yeah. Well, dog grin, you can't help when he's happy, he looks insane. Ooh, it's shooting with rage. It's shooting with rage. The Republicans gonna fuck you with a dildo.
What is going on, everybody? It's me, the King of Bong Style, Rage the Lunatic, back on the channel for Shootin' with Rage, episode 6. And my guest today is the community resident troll of YouTube, my good friend on episode 6 of Trollin' with Young Republican. What's going on, Young?
Hey, how's it going there, Rage, and all the guys, fans?
What's going on is right. Hey, guys, I got a question now. I was under the impression that Young Republican was in New York, and there's a reason for that. Young, you're actually in Texas, but when I originally met you, I was trolled by you, and I was told you were in New York. So is this part of the early planting the seeds to troll?
Yeah, you can call it that. It's just, gotta be still the internet, so, gotta be low-key and can't be sharing too much information out there,
Now, a lot of you guys that have YouTube shows or are in the community know of Young Republican, and a lot of you guys have a bad view of him. They just say, he goes in the chats and he kills the vibes. He goes in there and just kills the mood. He talks shit. But every community needs a troll, and we love our resident troll, Young Republican, and we're going to talk about it today. We're going to dig deep and find out what makes a troll. And chances are, Young Republican has trolled you, your mama, your brother, your sister, your mammy, your pappy, and your great-grandmother, if she's still around and she has internet. Chances are, you've been trolled by Young. I have too. Now, let me ask you first, how old were you when you started trolling, Young?
I mean, I didn't really choose it to troll. I kind of fell into it, and it was recently, honestly, I just started being involved with it this past year.
Okay, so the troll life, you didn't choose the troll life. The troll life chose you.
Yes,
that is very interesting. How old would you say you were at the time?
Well, I'm 26 now, so 25.
Okay, so you've been doing it about a year. A year and a half. Can you imagine how this guy's going to be trolling in 5 years if he's still doing it? Give this guy an award. He is the troll of the year. He's Young Republican, and he's on Shootin' with Rage today here for episode 6. I got another question for you. Now, what made you want to troll? Was it just bullshit content being distributed through YouTube, or was it just, hey, let's see if I can get a rise out of somebody?
Well, let's go ahead and I'll lay it on the line, and I'm not trolling anyone now. I'm gonna be honest, and frank. I'm gonna be frank with y'all. Basically, I started doing it. Well, I started watching the Joe Cronin show like 2 years ago, and that was the first show I watched on YouTube. Like, I knew there was YouTube, but I didn't know people broadcast it and stuff like that,
Correct.
So, and especially for wrestling, like, it was right before Hulk Hogan got banished from WWE. So,
okay,
a month or two before that, started listening to Joe, stuff like that. So I was like, oh yeah, we got this guy, Joe Cronin, wrestler. I'm big into it too, and that's perfect for me. So listening, and there's a guy on there, DV Stave Rose, co-host. and I fell in love with his views on a lot of stuff because I share the same views on just politically, just in general in life. So big fan of Dave Rose, and he's kind of like he was the enemy on the show. You know, he was kind of like the bad guy,
Correct.
devious Dave Rose. So, you know, the general fans of Cronin, they weren't too keen on him because you know he had we both had high just like Trump and stuff like that, and your typical Republican views. I don't want to get into all that detail wise, but you can just imagine. And people don't like people don't like that. So he wasn't a good guy on the show. And I always, people could say I kissed his ass, stuff like that. Not really. Like, I just enjoy, we got along. Like we had stuff to talk about other than wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you guys found common ground, and you saw that he was kind of the heel on the show.
Yeah,
and,
when being like a young person and being towards the Republican side, that's not really common. So, he's not really young, but I was like, dang, this guy, most people these days are PC, politically correct. So it's kind of different finding someone that has the same views and stuff like that.
And let me stop you right there, Young, just for all you PC, politically correct jabronis out there, kiss my ass because I don't like you. Go ahead, Young. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so basically, me and him, we had a relationship, just, a friendly relationship, DM'd, talked on Skype, stuff like that, off the air, VIP type shit. And I was good with, I was a Cronin. I don't like bringing this shit up, bro, but it's like, we gotta say it so people can understand. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to like shit on Cronin or bring up old shit, but right. I gotta say it. But
well, we're here to clear the air, and I want people to see both sides of Young Republican today, and that's kind of why I wanted to do this. So whatever you want to do, Young, if you want to name drop, that's fine. Just shooting a Rage Lunatic does not necessarily reflect the opinions of Young Republican, but Young, the mic is yours. I'm not going to cut you off. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
And so. I was always when Cronin came out. So so basically, yeah, it was cool for like a year and stuff, and then I started to call in and stuff like that. Everything was cool, everything was fine. People knew I was a big Dave Rose guy, and then on the show, Justin Bailey, him and Dave Rose always got into it, friendly, fun, and sometimes. Intense arguments, stuff like that. So he was always shitting on Dave Rose, and he pretty much kind of always had a sour eye towards me. I wasn't necessarily trolling or anything like that in the chat ever like that. I'm not really a chat guy, but it's like, so yeah, so that happened. So that's kind of why we have a sour thing, me and Justin Bailey, I guess, just because of the Dave Rose thing. So that's where it boils down to. So, Joe Cronin became a patron, did the Patreon thing, and then like pretty much right when he started that, like a year and a half ago or a year ago or something, I got on for $20 a month for a while. I dropped it to 10. I dropped it to $10 a few times, but I bumped it back up to 20 here and there. So I spent money, stuff like that. I'm not trying to hold that as a grudge or nothing, but I was loyal, definitely loyal. Didn't listen to no one else. Didn't, always DMing Joe Cronin and other co-hosts of his about breaking news, stuff like that. Taking pictures of Joe Cronin show signs that were on Raw or SmackDown, like being the first person to do that a few times.
Right.
Just a lot of different stuff. So basically a few months, 3 or 4 months ago, Dave Rose came out with a tweet on Twitter, and then I tweeted Joe, and me and Joe were cool and stuff like that. And I tweeted Joe. This is probably like maybe a month after him and Ken from Foul Mouths got together and shit, because I tweeted, well, a soundboard won't help you bring back how monetized this used to be. Like, so Joe Cronin, like, come on! I know. So, like, basically, Joe Cronin, he really never had the soundboard on deck before. I mean, he did at times. I mean, he had sound clips and stuff. But so he brings up the soundboard, and it's like, oh, you're obviously copying Foul Mouse, which Joe Cronin copies Foul Mouse and takes a lot of their ideas a lot. I'll say that because everyone else is afraid to say that, but it's fucking obvious. And that happened. So I just tweeted that, and so I went back and something like that, and then I was blocked from Joe Cronin. It's like, what the fuck?
He blocked.
So I mean that pissed me off, and then because I was like, yeah, I obviously get why someone would be mad if I said it, but I was being a smart ass,
Yeah, you were.
but I was kind of stating the fact too, but that got me, that. I guess you could say it was a troll. I guess you could say I was my first official troll. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously he was gonna. Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So overall, what made you want to troll was seeing what Devious Dave rose, the heat he was getting in the community, and pretty much that with the Joe situation was the start of the trolling. So you got a little heat from that, and you just fed off of it, and it just gradually built.
Yeah, I mean, that happened. So what I did, I reported Joe Cronin show on Twitter, which doesn't really do anything. Like, they just send him a warning or some shit. But I was just in the heat, like, what the fuck? I mean, but basically, bro, like, at the time, he's lucky, or anyone's he's lucky that that's all I did. That's all I got. I mean, it's not like I followed him to a Top Rope show and kick his ass in the parking lot. Like, I didn't even go that far, but everyone was acting like it went that far. You get what I'm saying? I work. I get paid every week. Like, I don't have time to do extra weird shit or whatever. So yeah, I'm like, that's all I could do is report someone on Twitter. I'm not gonna like talk shit necessarily.
Now let me ask you, how often do you get reported?
I never get reported. I mean, honestly, like, I've had a lot of different Twitter accounts, but that's probably why. I don't know, because I used to say just outlandish shit, like when stuff about Obama and shit, and like his big ass forehead, and then all of a sudden my account would be like frozen. It would be locked.
He ain't got a forehead. He's got a 5 head.
Like, I would just say something. I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't be like, I'm gonna kill blah blah blah. So I don't say nothing like that, but just like a disrespectful comment, and then I'm like shunned or whatever and blocked on. So I had multiple Twitter accounts, but everyone knows that it's the real me. So I stuck with this one for a while, actually. After all the shit that's gone on, I've kept this one. So
we kind of got off the topic with that first question, but that is okay. I wanted you to go into detail, and I'm glad you did share that. The second question I had for you, Young, was how do you pick a target to troll?
I would consider myself I would consider myself a prick, because I like to, prick back at people that fuck with me first. I'm like a counterpuncher. I mean, like, people can say what they say, but I mean, I can bring up a lot of examples and show you. But I like, I might start stuff at times, but I'm more of a counterpuncher. Like, we can go with any example, any situation, and I can explain it, and anyone can be with the right mind can understand. Like, okay, yeah, like, I'm not doing all this shit for attention. That's for sure. I'm doing it for reasons, or I've done it for reasons. So,
is it just that you're highly opinionated, or maybe outspoken, or you just misunderstood?
We can do all three. Well, my opinions are facts, and people have the right to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't say something if it's not, unless I'm trolling. That's what you got to know when I'm. We're having a nice time right now, talking, good times. This is nice, But someone made me mad, and we could get into a couple people that made me mad recently. Maybe, it sucks. Like,
So really, you don't really just go out looking for targets. You
No.
just you pretty much adapt to what's going on. You read something, and if you have something to say, you're not going to hold back on your opinion.
Yeah, you could call me like a mix with Donald Trump and Roman Reigns if they fucked.
Oh, God.
Maybe hated by a lot, but loved by the people that are important. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
The people that love Roman Reigns are the people that pay, get the apparel, the shirts, and money. It's all about the dollar, you know?
Exactly.
So,
Bottom line, dollar at the end of the day. And speaking of Donald Trump, I had to throw him in on this slide because Troll's gonna troll. Who, young Republican, is next on the list of young Republican?
the list next is Mr. Tommy NC 2010.
Tommy NC 2010. Wait a minute. He's the nicest, most positive man on YouTube.
That's a
And he dresses like a clown. He paints his face up, and he sounds.
Unfortunately, that's the narrative he wants people to give. That's a false narrative that he's nice. He's smart. He's smart. He knows what the fuck he's doing, okay? And it's like, bro, I don't know, man.
Now, I haven't heard much of this situation, but I understand that there's current heat between you and Young Republican. Did it stem from trolling, or did you want to get into that and talk about the issue? Maybe you can lay it out. Maybe Tommy will hear it. Maybe he'll have a response. Maybe I can get him on the show to talk about it.
Yeah, because basically I called in the show. Me and Ken have this thing where it's like I'm a big New Jersey Devils fan, which I'm really not, but I just say it just because New Jersey Devils is like right there by New York, and you know what I'm saying. So it's funny.
So you're just trolling the hockey fans just to be a dick.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't know nothing about hockey. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't fuck with that. But so basically, Tommy. So what happened was I called in the show Foul Mouth. This was on Wednesday, a few days ago, and we were fucking around stuff like that. And so like that's why I brought it up. The New Jersey Devils. Like hey Ken, I got a new hat and a shirt. It's New Jersey Devils hat and shirt. And then Tommy's like, yeah, man, why you guys talk about that on your show, man? What does that have to do with the show? When Tommy NC called into the Game of Thrones review and did not talk about Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. When we asked 100 people in the YouTube community, does Tommy NC ever call into a show and stay on topic? We asked 100 people, and the survey says, no, he does not. No substance to any topic. But go ahead, Young.
And I wasn't even on this hating Tommy bandwagon that's going on. Like, I was a big fan. I was gonna throw in the 50 piece, the $50 in his GoFundMe.
I like Tommy. I do.
I do too, but it's like, how can you say don't talk about that on the show when it's not your show? Number one, number two, you ruined the Game of Thrones review by talking whatever bullshit that wasn't about Game of Thrones.
And that's one thing that I've seen a lot. I've talked to, I'm not going to name drop any other any hosts or anything, but I've spoke to some of these hosts personally, and there's been a lot of people coming in chats and commenting on videos, pretty much telling people how to run their shows. And I'm sorry, if you want to produce a show, go and spend some fucking money, get yourself some equipment, come up with a topic, and go. Because I'm sorry, it's not as easy as everybody thinks. I put a lot of work into this show myself, just for a 25-minute podcast, all the posters and everything I do. It takes a long time. A lot of people just think it's hit record and go, but there's a lot more work to it. And if you're not doing it yourself, constructive criticism is okay, but telling people how to run their show. I know it's happened on FoulMouthNet. People telling them how to run their show. And to those people who like to do that, I tell them to fuck off.
Well, you got to think of it though. You're on YouTube, you're public, it's the internet, so you're gonna get all kinds of weirdos. And then, there's a difference from like suggesting or giving a suggestion like, hey, it'll be cool if blah blah blah. But then it's like, y'all should do this. Y'all should have this person. Y'all shouldn't have this person on the show. So
yeah, when they're telling you who to have on your show and who not to, like.
And most of those people don't even have a profile picture, so they're probably like 800 pounds with glasses and like a nerd and sits at home all day and does nothing, or works at like somewhere. I don't know.
Sitting in mom's basement because they're sad because they're out of meatloaf.
Yeah, I mean, I understand there's a lot of people in the community that how can I put it in a way? Maybe just be disabled, stuff like that, and are at home all day and listen to all these shows is a treat for them, which is it's a treat for me too. So that's understandable, but you know, there's a lot of these guys that just don't have fucking profile pictures, and your Adam Hoyches, all those cocksuckers. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So fuck them. But everyone knows what it is. So
I know those names very well and refuse to speak of those particular names on my show for many, many reasons. As there's some shit starters out there. They've been exposed and they have been deleted and rendered as obsolete. So it's all good in the hood. Young Republican, I want to thank you for joining me today. Is there anything else that you'd like to say about yourself that maybe people don't know that might kind of change their mind about you?
yeah, I don't really do it for the attention. I don't do it to hurt people's feelings, but like I do it to hurt people's feelings when they're a piece of shit and they fuck with other people and me and drop people's names and just talk shit. And I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna say what I want. Ken, Foulmouth Ken, he's a great guy. He lets me on his show. If he didn't want me on the show, he wouldn't answer my call. I bring the heat. I bring the songs. And just guys, just don't get butthurt and stuff all the time. You know, just laugh. It's all a big fun and laugh. Like, don't take it personal.
Life's too short to sweat the small stuff. And guys, now trolling on YouTube, it is Young Republican. He's leading the pack in all the trolls. Young Republican, thank you again very much for joining me. I look forward to working with you again in the future, as it sounds like Young is going on break and taking a rip. So, Young Republican, next week, my guest, guys, from DatassPodcast, it's going to be the man, James. And I can't wait to have him on. We're going to be talking TV shows that ended oddly. We'll be getting into like Dexter. We'll be getting into Prison Break. We'll be getting into Seinfeld. All that good shit. Again, Young Republican, thank you very much for joining me. I'm Rage a Lunatic, King of Bong Style. See ya!
Yeah!
This money is me, this money is everything I do and see. Who you to judge me? Just let me be and let me breathe. I see this whole world headed for damnation and I'm ready to leave. I can't believe this whole world twisted me. You fucking bigots, you fakes, you wannabes. I see the future and it's looking grim. A lake of fire looking like a